and
Then
then
you lose
comes
it.
to it, and you're like, oh, of course I can't remember.
My memory is terrible, anyways. Everything is fine here on Detention Block AA 23, a Star Wars podcast. I'm Mike, joined by Bogie, here to talk Star Wars with all you fans out there. We'll get the business elements out of the way really quick. So if you're listening to us right now, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment, rate, review, any and all the above. We greatly appreciate it. Any little thing that you can do definitely helps us out in getting our channel's name out there amongst all the other Star Wars channels. So thank you very much. And as a reminder, we will be doing a prize giveaway once we hit 200 subscribers. We keep climbing that ladder slowly but surely, inching our way there. So we will have a drawing at 200 subs. Remember to make sure that your name is public so that I know who to enter into the drawing. And then we will have another drawing, a bigger prize at 500 subscribers. And I was talking to Bogie the other day that I finally ordered that prize. I think I'm going to hold off on announcing it. I've given some indications and clues on what it might be, and I told Bogie what it is. But I think it's something that people are going to want to win. Would you agree with that, Bogie?
I'll spoil it. It's Jelly of the Month Club membership. 1 year, 1 year
Thanks,
membership.
Clark.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
That is one of my, I'll be honest, that is one of my favorite lines that I say to people when it's like, when it comes to anything that's a gift, I always say it's the gift that keeps on giving. I
I don't know.
love that.
Yeah, Mudge had shared with me what the gift was. And he's like, "Well, can you guess?" And I was like, "Jelly of the Month Club." I'll take it. The gift that keeps on giving.
But then I told him what it really is, and I think he just created 5 new burner accounts just to set up to win the prize. No, I'm just kidding.
Five? No, I made maybe 100.
Oh, no wonder we jumped up quite a bit. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I think you guys will like the prize. So get your name in there, subscribe.
Definitely, definitely.
And our chat is up and running right now, so feel free to drop a line, say hi, give us your opinions, whatnot. We'll be happy about it.
If you're out there, Ryan, speak up.
Yeah, Ryan, are you there? I see we're not the only ones here, so it might be you, one of them out there. So hi, Ryan. He likes to come in and give us a hard time. So, but we encourage that. Keeps us honest. Um, so for today, I think we're going to talk a little bit about Tales of the Empire. So I know Bogie hadn't previously seen it, and watching Tales of the Underworld, and he's watched Tales of the Jedi, right? You've seen those episodes. So
Yep.
then he wanted to go watch Tales of the Empire, and he got through the first arc. So we figured because there's not much going on right now, we would talk a little bit about this, get Bogey's opinion on it, and yeah, just have fun with it. So we will start with there. Anything you want to kick off with before we kind of dive into it?
No, Isaiah, like you said, I just watched the first arc, and I thought since the content's kind of right now for Star Wars news or shows, Andor's finished up, that maybe I'll take my time and start with the first arc, and then our next episode we can talk about the next arc, kind of try to space it out.
Yeah,
It was kind of my thinking, and that way I'm not rushing through it and forgetting some of the details of things.
yeah,
So.
for sure.
Yeah, no. We can go ahead and if there's nothing else to mention, we can kick off the first arc. I'm terrible with some of these names, so
Morgan
what's
Elsbeth.
Morgan Elsbeth? Um, I kind of like that backstory of hers that on all these tales, getting more backstory, or if it's Vaz Ventura, like her future story, like
Yep.
I like these little additionals. Is it considered canon?
Yeah. Yep. These are all canon.
Okay.
So what we see, and we can take as like being a true story and should, for the most part, connect with everything else that we've seen that is considered canon, which we do see um, some portions of that in these episodes. Thinking more mostly along the lines of what you have over your right shoulder behind you. We were kind of talking about Mandalorian a little bit, so we get some good connecting devices to Mandalorian, and also Ahsoka, um, because obviously she's kind of a prominent figure in the first season of that show as well. So yeah, first arc is revolving around Morgan Elsbeth, giving a little more context to her story, who she is, because she did kind of appear out of nowhere a little bit. And we first see her in the Mandalorian show in that episode that we first see Ahsoka. Um, I think the episode is actually called The Jedi, referring to probably Ahsoka. Um, and that kind of coincides a little bit with the second episode from this arc, I think. No, sorry, the third episode, because that Ahsoka episode would be after episode 3 of here because of the fire that was set to the forest around them. But the first episode kind of gives her kind of origin story. She is a Night Sister, and she was there on Dathomir during the attack that Grievous carried out with the droids, essentially annihilating all the Night Sisters. Granted, we know Asajj Ventress makes it out. Now we find out there was another Night Sister that made it out, Morgan Elsbeth. Um, did she get hit? She got shot and then kind of played dead a little bit. Am I remembering that correctly? I know she played dead. I can't remember if she got hit or not though, because she had
Um,
that droid that was kind of following her a little bit.
yeah, when she was trying to escape,
Yep.
and I thought that was cool animation of her like ducking and diving under the debris and all of this,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought she was running toward she was running towards something that blew up because
Okay. Is that?
then she was all kind of like burnt up,
Yep.
and
Yep.
then all of a sudden she like couldn't keep and she just fell unconscious. And that's when like what's that other, are they considered the sisters too? Because she was wearing like the red like cloak or
Yep.
clothing,
The
but then
garb of yep.
there was that other faction that had like white. You know what I'm
It-
talking about?
the faction that found her.
Yeah, they ended up finding her like wounded
Yeah, I don't think those are. That's a good question. They might be. Uh,
because at one point the like the younger ones because
mhm.
she was influencing them and
Yep.
the old lady was kind of like no
Like
and
we
like
want to stay separate because we know if we get involved, then we're going to be targeted next by the Grievous and the droids,
the separatist
the
or
separatists. So that the more we stay to ourselves, the better chance that we have of going unnoticed, or maybe not unnoticed, but not getting attacked.
but like similar to like how Mandalorian they say this is the way. I think they were like this is the path
Yep. Yep.
is what they kept saying. But then she convinces like the younger sisters, if that's what we want to call them, in their white cloaks to like, oh, we're gonna go. There's like a base nearby that she knows that Morgan knows, and there's weapons there. So they go, but then practically like I think two of the three die or something like that, and then the older lady, we call it mom, shows up and she uses some sort of like was it some force sensitive?
Yeah.
Because like
Or
they were surrounded by droids and she blew up all the droids. So
yep.
that's why I'm like, is she a sister or what exactly is? I was a little confused about like who they were,
Yeah, they might it might be like a sect of Night Sisters, some sort of similar
but
cult or group, but
but
just
more
like unaffiliated with the night, because I
right,
think um the Night Sisters seem to more like tap into the dark arts. It's like witchcraft type of a thing. So maybe
yeah,
this other sect is like not quite as dark
like the light.
sidey, or that maybe they more affiliate with the light. Ooh, I don't know. I don't think we got that kind of context Because we didn't even realize that they were force wielders or had force wielding or magic um until the elder did that. Um and I think that was kind of the reasoning that Morgan was providing to the younger group. Like she was saying, eventually, what got me is going to get you guys, and you have nothing to defend yourselves. So there, I know where we can get weapons to help defend you guys. And the sister or the younger girls were like, okay, we're for that. Um, but I thought it was an interesting first episode because I think the message here, which was really cool, is like um kind of along the lines of don't judge a book by its cover. You thought that we can't defend ourselves, but clearly I'm powerful enough to defend us. Now, I still think if they got attacked, they would probably still have the same fate because
Yeah.
I know you really haven't seen that arc yet in Clone Wars, right? You haven't seen
Not
the
yet.
Night Sisters get attacked. So in those episodes, you'll meet Mother Tolzien, who's kind of like she's like the elder of the Night Sisters, and she's super powerful. And even with her powers, like they got wiped out. So I think the same fate would um happen with this other group. But at the same time, like it was probably the elder was probably right. Like, let's not get involved here. The less we get involved, the better our chances of survival are. So,
Because that was
but,
another aspect too, because it just seemed like, again, it's like light versus dark, and it
mhm.
seemed like this group that she kind of got taken in on were more on the light side, and then when that elder lady like, she like it was weird because she like kind of just popped out of nowhere, and
Yep,
then whatever magic she did, and then like this like wave goes through and just destroys all the droids.
yep,
And then she was trying to find her daughter who was got shot by a blaster, so saying goodbye, and then tells what's her name again? Morgan, right?
Morgan. Yep,
Tells her like I told you we won't fight, but this doesn't mean we can't defend ourselves.
yeah,
So it's pretty much saying like we're not trying to provoke any sort of violence, but that doesn't mean we won't fight back.
right.
And I kind of really like that kind of that arc kind of like opened her eyes a little bit, but it still wasn't clearly down the line doesn't really resonate within her too much because
Yep,
she really does kind of turn as we move on to the next couple episode how she kind of becomes like a tyrant on this city if you call her a mayor or like I said a tyrant of just ordering people around.
yeah, yeah. It's clear to me that she never really learns the lesson that keeps coming to her, like
Yeah,
throughout
that's
her story span, even into Ahsoka, because like in Ahsoka now she's getting or she was involved. Well, we get that in this show a little bit. We see the introduction of Thrawn and Morgan, but in the Empire, meaning Thrawn, just without like a second question, just kind of has her knocked off. Because like, do you remember in the Ahsoka episode where they're trying to get away. Thrawn and all the his crew are trying to get away, and someone has to stay behind. And the three other like Night Sister witches that are with Thrawn, they all kind of like look at her, and Morgan Elsbeth is like going to be the sacrificial lamb essentially to stay behind and fight Ahsoka to buy them enough time to get out. So it's like, you're not really learning your lesson in any situation that you're in, but it but yeah, I thought that first episode was I thought that was well done, and that was probably my favorite of the three episodes in this arc. I thought that was the most fascinating one. The second one, so that first one's called The Path of Fear. The
I
second one, oh,
I
go
gotta
ahead,
say
sorry.
the names of these episodes was when I started noticing it, I was like perfect. Like
Yep.
it's literally Yoda telling me
Mm-hmm.
his spiel to leading to the dark side. But yeah, sorry to interrupt, but keep going.
No, no, you're good. And I'm glad you brought that up because, yeah, exactly. It's showing those steps of progression of what Yoda meant by that in terms of, fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering. And we don't have a suffering episode, but we know what the suffering is because what her story turns out to be going after this show. Um, so yeah, the second episode, The Path of Anger. So now Morgan is on Corvus, and she's kind of, I don't know if she's like the mayor or
The tyrant, like I was saying, like
the
leader
leader,
of the town.
the leader of the town, probably like funding the town because she has like kind of a nice little, piece of property, nice home or whatnot. And the whole rest of the town kind of looks like it's kind of in shambles, a little dirty, a little poor. Um, so she's now running this, and again, it's been a while since I've watched these episodes, but I feel like there's some kind of production factory in the distance. I think
Yes.
I can't remember if that's being run by the Empire or not.
It's being run by her, like her faction,
Hmm.
whatever group that she formed in this small town, and she tried to sell it to the
To
Empire.
the
Like
Empire. Okay.
she was like in a conference room with like a bunch of like Imperials and
Okay.
was like selling like uh whatever it's a mineral or whatever they're always mining or what they're just or manufacturing. And at one point, like after her presentation, one of the higher Supremes were kind of like, okay, good to know. We've heard enough. We're not interested. Um, and she was shocked, kind of be like, well, how do you say no to this? This is something you need. And pretty much all the different like leaders, separatists or imperialists, they all leave. But the one that said no, he must be high ranking because you see by like the colors of like how
Sure.
many buttons or whatever. He goes, "Thanks for telling us that you can do this. We'll be by soon because it is rightfully belongs to the Empire." So pretty much like, thanks for telling us you're making this, but we're just gonna take it.
We're not going to buy
'Cause
it from you. We're just going to take
yeah, we're
it.
just gonna take it because it belongs to the Empire. We're all part of the Empire, right? And she was just shocked. So,
Which
so I don't know if
then, oh, go ahead.
I don't know if that escalates her to like kind of make a defensive approach, knowing that they were gonna show up at some point. Because then there was that, and then there was another like colonel or general, whatever, with the mustache, like talk to her. Um, and at some point you see him later on, but pretty much says like watch your back, like yeah,
Beware.
we're coming for you, and we're gonna take what we want.
Yeah.
And then that's when then leads down the later path of the episode where they end up like there was some sort of a attack and there was an assassin taking her on.
Yeah.
So
Well, and was it this episode where the town was like starting to question her ability to lead? Um,
I think that's the next episode.
and she was like promising like she'll take care of it, like that,
Or
like
it
trust her, she'll take care of it. And
That could have been
then
the beginning, and then
yeah,
it continued into the third episode.
yeah, because then yeah, the assassin comes, um, and we've seen that assassin before. I think that might have been in Rebels. Anyways, she doesn't kill the assassin, but she defeats the assassin. And it was, if I recall, it was kind of like a test. Um, and that actual fight wasn't the actual test. The actual test is what comes next. Um, because Thrawn shows up, and I'm trying to remember the exact. Was did someone else show up before Thrawn showed up from the Empire?
It was
After
that other
that other guy?
mustache general guy that
Yeah,
like was like warning her, but saying like there's a like in a roundabout way telling her that there's something more to come
yeah,
before we just take what we want.
yeah. And then
So he showed
Thrawn,
up, and that's when all of a sudden like then he walks away because it was like him and the assassin. The assassin just like jumped off the roof then after
yeah,
she let him go, and then that general like walked away, and then behind the general was Thrawn.
yeah. So then Thrawn starts like questioning Morgan, like what she's doing and the reasoning. And I think she gave like kind of not a false, but not a real answer. And then Thrawn like pried a little more, and he was like, "What's the real reason you're doing this?" And she's thinking back to, um, like her like tribe, her night sisters being killed off essentially, and she says revenge. And then that's when Thrawn's like, "You have the Empire's support now." and then he goes away. So
Now was is that something that maybe she's not? That was one thing that they said like what planet are they on again?
Corvus is where they're at now.
Corvus. And um in the third episode, the one gal shows up with the new rebellion, New
New
Republic,
Republic.
and they're like, oh, and telling her like the Empire's gone. They're like, oh, news does not travel very well because we didn't know that.
Yep.
So I found that interesting. But it's like if news like that and wherever they are in this part of the galaxy, like did she not know? Like she probably wants revenge, but like against like the separatists and the droid army that like killed her sisters. Does she never really realize that technically the Empire are it's all same?
Right.
It's Darth Sidious and the Emperor controlling everything behind the scenes of they're kind of all on the same side if you look at it. Like, yeah, the clone troopers are now the stormtroopers, but still like who's in charge is really what
Yep.
does she ever figure that out at all in like the t other episodes I haven't seen in like the Rebels, or is she even in the
It,
Rebels or Clone Wars or
no, she's not in Rebels. She's not in Clone Wars.
okay.
Yeah, because the first we see her is in the Ahsoka show, or not Ahsoka, sorry, Mandalorian show in the Ahsoka episode.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm trying to recall. I
You know what I mean? Does she
because in the
ever put two and two together? Like,
because technically, if she really thinks about it, and maybe this is why she's trying to get their support. Yeah, maybe I'm just answering my own question here. She knows it was the separatists that wiped out um her, the Night Sisters, her family, her tribe, and it was the Republic that defeated the separatists because you know that's what happened in the prequel trilogy. And then that kind of turned into the Galactic Empire. And she knows that they were the ones that defeated the separatists, so that's probably why she wants their support. But like, I don't think so, it's dawning on her that they're like actually the bad guys,
yeah,
and the emperor himself, who's running the Galactic Empire, was actually the one that like pulled the strings with the separatists to like
do it.
destroy, put Grievous in command and ordered them to like wipe out the Night Sisters. So she doesn't realize any of that. But I would think that it's kind of odd that she doesn't know more information. I think that she knew that the Galactic Empire fell to the now New Republic, but she probably wasn't communicating that to the town
Oh, no.
because I don't
Even
think she was revealing to them any information whatsoever. So
when we get to like the final third episode, there was a scene where I don't know, was she like a senator or whatever that she came with her troops?
yeah,
Uh,
she was. Yeah, now part of the New Republic Senate, but she used to be a citizen of
uh,
that town of on Corvus.
and had asked like kind of maybe I guess the town leader or whatever, and he goes, she never comes out. We never hear from her.
Yeah.
So I can easily see, and every time there's a ship that usually comes in, it lands like behind her little like hut house and behind their like personal barricade walls. So I was like, yeah, I could see that if she knew the information, just to decide not to share it type
Mhm.
thing. But yeah, so before we move on to the third episode, I gotta say that first episode though, to circle back to
Yeah.
the when she was a kid, Morgan was a kid, kind of a kid or teenager, whatever.
Yeah. Teenager,
Um,
probably.
that shootout fight scene in the beginning was so awesome with the droids.
That's why you got to watch Clone Wars because you get the full
I know
you
I'm
get the
working
full
on
battle.
I'm working on it. Um, but when they were like kind of getting pinned down and they backed up, and one of the Night Sisters all of a sudden out of nowhere, you see a green lightsaber stab from behind. I was like, wait, so the Jedi are in this, but the droids are the one. But then you find out, then you hear, and you hear Grievous, and I was like, oh hell yeah. And then his famous um his arms that go up and then he starts spinning the lightsabers because
Hmm.
I don't know what they had. I mean, were they using Beskar steel or something? Or what were like because the Shaith or whatever you call him was like kind of defending the lightsabers, but then if she like held it too long, it was like starting to burn the metal a
Yeah,
little bit.
I don't think it's Beskar, but um, it's possible that it was like Night Sister magic that was essentially like blessed onto the weapons. I'm trying
Oh,
to
you're right, because
remember back
yeah,
to the Clone Wars episodes, but
that's right on her blade. She did like whisper something into it, and all of a sudden it turned
some
like
dark magic.
and
Yeah.
then like yeah, some like blue orb was going around the blades.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're probably right then. Maybe it
Because
was
they've got
that.
yeah, because they've got a lot of dark magic. If you remember too from the Ahsoka show, where she Morgan gets awarded that sword where the blade is like green and it's like sorcery that kind of just build the and that's the blade of Talzine. That was from the mother that I was speaking of, who was like the elder of the Night Sisters. But like
Oh,
a lot of their weapons are this like black or dark magic because even like the bows are kind
oh
of
yeah, that's right, because they were
the
using that.
arrows the arrows are dark magic, I believe. But there's even darker magic that they use that comes out in the actual full battle, which is just another reason why you gotta watch. It's either two or three episodes, if I recall, that story within Clone Wars, and those are some of the better episodes for sure.
Okay, all right, I got more homework to
I
do.
think it's here. I'll look it up to because you're what season one right now still.
Right at the cusp of ending season one. I think I got like maybe a couple episodes left.
Okay. Uh, if I can learn how to type. I'm just looking up Night Sister episodes of Clone Wars. Third season. It's about the middle of the third season where you get Night Sisters.
Okay.
It's great stuff. It's not the best stuff. It's really good. It's not what the best out of Clone Wars, but it's not towards the top of the stuff out of Clone Wars.
Well, like you
I
were
mean,
telling me
you get some
before that.
Mandalorian fighting, you get some Night Sister fighting, you get a lot of clone fighting, you get some a lot of good stuff in Clone Wars. So
Like you said, every season just keeps getting better and
getting better
better.
and better and better and better.
And
And
then
this
what
is
is
and
what
like I said, this is season three where the Night Sisters come out. So
this is
this is
season
when it's
three
like
out of what,
seven,
nine? Is there like
seven,
11? Jeez.
no seven,
Oh, seven. Oh, okay.
seven. So and it's really around this time where the show is starting to get really good. So yeah, get on it. I'm just kidding. Not no rush. Do it at your own time, but
No, you're gonna be like, you're fired. You're done. We need content.
I'm just saying you won't be disappointed in investing your time to watch the show. So um yeah,
So
so
yeah,
then go
and then
ahead.
in that first episode with the droid fight, and then like I said, the Grievous thing. If I was a kid, that'd probably give me a little bit of nightmares because when Morgan was trying to like evade and hide, all you could hear is just like in the background, like Grievous in his way he walks, and then hear him like coughing and laughing like that, like like that would give me nightmares. Thinking
It's just
Grievous is
taunting, yeah.
like I'm trying to hide and he's trying to hunt me down.
Oh, I'm sure she has nightmares of it after this. That's for sure. Yeah, it's brutal. That guy, you could have like a Scream or like I Know What You Did Last Summer type of show just with Grievous hiding.
But yeah, like I said, I thought that was cool. At one point, when he was just using like two arms, I was like, okay, when is he gonna bust out four lightsabers? I mean,
Yeah,
he's just spinning the two, and I think was it Morgan's mother? I think so.
I'm trying to because I don't think you.
That was
Yeah,
fighting it. That was fighting
yeah,
him
I think you're right if I recall. Yeah,
because then she
because you don't see
catches
Mother Tolzien, but I think you see what's supposed to be Morgan's mom at least.
Morgan's
Yeah,
mom
yeah.
because I think she was the one that fighting him that put the like the whatever magic on the blades because then she catches.
Yeah.
When he's like spinning the lightsabers, she catches it, and then because the whole time I'm like, when is he gonna pop up like the extra arms? But out of nowhere, all of a sudden, boom, she gets th like the third lightsaber comes out of nowhere and drills her right
Gets
in
her.
the. So and once again, all it takes is one stab.
Yeah.
There's no coming back.
It's only for certain characters. Others, it takes many. Sometimes it doesn't kill them at all.
If it's gonna kill Qui-Gon Jinn, it can kill anybody.
Not Riva.
Not Reva.
Riva survives twice the same impaling of a lightsaber in the stomach area. So,
Oh God, I still can't. Was there someone else that also got stabbed?
oh yeah, many people.
it doesn't make any sense. Keep it consistent.
The Grand Inquisitor. I mean, in that same show,
Yeah,
Riva
Grand Inquisitor,
stabs the Grand Inquisitor. So there's three stabbings in that show,
and then
and no one
Ahsoka
dies.
and Ahsoka. What's her name?
Oh yeah, Sabine.
Sabine. Doesn't she get like stabbed like two lightsabers or was it just one? I'm trying to remember if what's her name grabbed her lightsaber and had the two
I think
and
it was only one
just
because
one. Okay.
if they did two stabbings and she still survived, I feel like there'd be rioting from the fan base.
And speaking, not to like get a little too off topic, but I know we talked about hallway scenes
Yeah.
and when we were watching Andor and we were like, oh, K2SO got his hallway scene.
Yeah.
You know who else we forgot to mention who got a hallway scene?
Jar
My boy
Jar.
Obi-Wan
He did. He did
in
get
the
a hallway
Obi-Wan
scene.
series when they're in the underwater base
Yeah.
and he's going back and forth. We have to make a mention of that because that was pretty kick ass. And then how he's like when the troopers are trying to get through the door, but he's also holding like the glass from
Yeah.
breaking.
Yep.
And then as he's doing that, he's like the troopers are getting their as they're trying to pry open the door, they're shooting at him and he's deflecting that like all at the same
Hmm.
time. That's why I was like, oh, that's cool. He definitely got his powers back.
He also kind of gets a hallway scene in the recreates of the Vader Kenobi fight from A New Hope. Have you seen that recreation?
Oh yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, we talked
Hmm.
about that. Whatever YouTuber that
Yeah,
created that, like CGI, but yeah,
that's kind
no.
of a hallway scene.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And that's old bad.
I just want to find someone who's like recreated that movie and has inserted that into the movie because that's what I want to watch. I want to
I
see that badass fight between Vader and Kenobi in that movie. Um, just because now knowing like their abilities, especially seeing them fight in the Kenobi show. So we know how they fight in the Kenobi show. And then knowing like, okay, the next time they meet after this, they fight again, but it's more like let's tap sticks. Let's tap.
yeah,
And I get it. It's just it's a product of when the film was made, and the technology at the time. I get it. But like knowing what we know now, it's hard to, that suspension of disbelief. Like it's hard to look at that now and be like, oh yeah, two of the strongest fighters are just like touching tips here in this battle. But well, not battle, but fight. Um,
yeah, it looks like it. Oh God, trying to pull up the for our viewerships out there. Looks like it's called. Is it called SC38 Reimage?
oh, the battle, the YouTube
Yeah,
video.
Vader versus old Obi-Wan from New
Yeah.
Hope.
Okay.
But no,
Yeah.
I absolutely love. When I first saw that, I probably could not stop hitting
Oh yeah.
replay. It
I'm sure
was
I watched it about 10 times in a row.
yeah. And then I was
And the
like texting
music and
everyone
everything.
texting everyone I know. And they're like, "Have you guys seen this? This is awesome." And I think I watched someone do like a call or like saying exactly what you said, like pretty much doing a call out of saying, "Can someone figure out how to image this whole and like cut and splice it into the actual movie so I can just
Yeah.
watch the movie and it's just in the movie?"
Well, that's like what is it? I think it's with the prequels, the machete cut or whatever. And someone built that, or didn't build it, like created it. So what? I mean, I like all three episodes in the prequels. There's some I like more than others for sure, but like they essentially took out all the unnecessary stuff from Phantom Menace, and then like all the good parts in two and three, and like put together one movie of just the essential stuff. And it's like, or no, Machete Cut is the order for watching it. Anyways, but someone created that and put it on like DVD or Blu-ray or whatnot at the time. So like you could just watch the key moments like it was its own movie of the first three episodes. So like I want to see someone recreate A New Hope. Not that I want to see someone recreate The New Hope, but I want to watch that fight when that moment comes up. I really like that YouTube clip that that person made. It was really good. I mean, sure, it can be touched up a little more, but I thought it was really well done. And I especially like seeing at the end of it where Vader force grabs his Kenobi's lightsaber, is
Yeah,
essentially like showing that he has it now, because it's good to know where that saber went. But yeah.
but it still doesn't answer in general. Where did it end up going? Down the dumps.
Well, and that's not canon, so we can't say that. I mean, you would think Vader has it. Did he bring it?
I don't think you ever see it again. That's why I
Yeah,
was like I'm laughing because like in the edited version, like he uses the as the door shut, and then you could hear his voice be like, "Can it be?" Because he could sense Luke.
yeah,
Um, but then he like walks away and he like uses the force to grab the lightsaber. I was visioning in my head. He goes back to his like ch chamber hut, whatever that ball thing that he like takes
yeah.
his mask off. But there's like dumpster right there, and he just throws it in the dumpster. Like,
I would have to believe that Vader brought it along with him on his ship when he left the Death Star. Where did Kenobi's lightsaber end at the end of oops. No, what did I just do? Not episode 6. 1 second. At the end of A New Hope. It was probably in Vader's chambers when the Death Star was destroyed. Okay,
guess what?
so it is still unknown because it says it was probably. Okay, interesting. Yeah, where did his
Uh,
just floating in space somewhere now?
Just landed in my backyard.
Oh wow. Maybe the one I have back here is the actual one. All right. Should we move on to
Yeah, I guess the third episode.
the third and final episode from Morgan's arc?
Yep.
Um, so this one's called The Path of Hate, if I remember correctly. And we kind of already spoke to it. And um essentially there's the New Republic shows up to Corvus, and they're trying to gain Corvus's support. Corvus is not really aware, well, at least the townspeople aren't really aware that the New Republic, or that the Empire has been destroyed and the New Republic is kind of in charge. And I think the townspeople are kind of all in favor of this, but Morgan is a little resistant, and the New Republic ends up sending a former citizen of Corvus who's lived in this town, who is now a representative on the Senate for the New Republic. And she's trying to convince Morgan or the town to join them. But long story short, things go south. Morgan has her droids essentially turn on all of them and kill them all. And the senator or whatever is running towards her ship. They have the ship blown up. Did someone set detonators in it, right?
Did what?
Someone set detonators like bombs in the ship, right? Am I remembering
Oh,
that correctly?
That,
Uh,
all that whole entire this is the shocking thing too about this episode when I first started it because the other episodes were I figured they'd be short.
yep.
This one was like 8 minutes long.
Yeah, it was really short.
I was like, wow, okay. Being sold short for a conclusion of this arc, but I was like, oh, but I really built it up quite a bit in the second episode. But when whoever this representative shows up, at one point I'm like, where did her troops go? Because first off, she had at one point had it could be editing errors or whatnot, but one time I started laughing because at one point she had like 8 guards with her, and then they go into the town, talk to the kind of the town's leader guy, and he goes, "I'll go with you." And then they knock on the door of her gates. They open the door. Next thing you know, it there's she's got 4 dudes. And I'm like, where did the other half go? And then she told the town's leader too. She's like, I got my troops. I'll be fine. I was like, are you kidding me? Eight, even if she had 8, if I counted wrong, is not enough.
No.
Because I love that scene in Mandalorian that they pretty much recreated. Like she's got guards like on all these rooftops, and they all got
Mhm.
like high-powered rifles.
Yeah.
Oh, you got 8 guards with the stupid helmet.
And like
That
capes
that
or whatever.
no, the white helmet, and it's
Yeah.
like I'm like,
What does that even do?
what does that even do? Why does it gotta look like that? But how they just go right through the front door, and all of a sudden she confronts them, then they all pretty much practically die. She tries to run back. All for a lost cause. She tells the R2 unit to send a distress call. Then that's what the guys on the rooftops were running, and they had like detonator grenade, whatever that like attached to the ship, and then the ship blew up. So, and then she kind of dies. I think the town leader tries to help her, but you find out she's got like a radio beacon sending that distress, and someone's calling on the other end, and it like falls out of her hand, and he just stares at it for like 10 seconds. I'm like, pick it up, dude. And then she comes, but then when Morgan comes up with the spear and just like destroys the beacon or whatever. I'm like, you idiot. So now we know how that leads up in the Mandalorian episode, how
Mhm.
that town is still kind of seized by her. And then if you were going to get to the point, kind of like a repercussion of the townspeople kind of turning on her. What'd she do? Burn? She told her kind of her army
Set
or troops
fire.
to set fire to the forest, and which is cool because that correlates totally to that episode when Mando shows up. It's like you see it all burnt down.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was I'm trying to understand the purpose behind setting the forest ablaze. Like the only thing I can really think of is like I think at this point Morgan is kind of anticipating that someone is going to be coming to aid because of that beacon that sent a message out that we need help. So in a way to defend themselves from potential people coming is let's set the fire or set the forest ablaze so it's like easier view. You don't have the tree like leaves and everything obstructing views and whatnot, which is kind of funny too because then in the Jedi episode everything's foggy and you can't see anything anyways. Um, but like even the ship of like the center, whatever they flew within the tree line. It's not like they flew into the trees. They flew like towards the
Yeah,
entrance and got
right.
out there. It's like so I would think like if they sent ships, they would land probably in this area and just bring more troops or whatnot. But also like you kind of need trees for your planet to survive. So
The
you just
ecosystem
make
and everything.
yeah. So like what is this really achieving for your planet that just let's burn down all the trees? I don't know. So I was a little confused by that. I mean, again, I can see part of the strategy in terms of defense, but at the same time, it's a little odd. But
I
yeah,
know.
I can't.
Does it create any sort of like because you said it like in the Mandalorian episode, um, was there like kind of did it create like a smog mist?
But wouldn't you not want to create that so you could see?
But
You know,
does that help hide them?
I don't think so.
I know.
And
I'm just thinking out loud. What?
no, I
Because
know
I know you bring up a good point. Like, why? What? What purpose does burning the forest down? Maybe I'll have to rewatch it and see if there was
if she made some, because again, I haven't watched it in a
comment.
while, so I can't remember if
Yeah.
she made a comment about the reason behind it. I'm just figuring that it was a defense mechanism so they could see people that are
Coming.
coming,
Yeah.
coming, but then it kind of backfires because then you can't really see. But um, this episode just it was a little unnecessary for me. Like I liked the
It,
first two episodes a lot better. I think this was just a way for them to have a way to introduce Ahsoka to come because clearly she's the one that's answering the call uh that was beckoned from the communication that senator sent out. Because I mean she was Fulcrum for a while, so I don't know if she was Fulcrum still at this point, but um yeah, she's essentially responding because otherwise why is Ahsoka there in Mandalorian? Did we ever find that out?
well, Ahsoka was hunting Morgan down, right? Wasn't there something she was
But
like?
why?
I thought there. Now I feel like I gotta rewatch the Mandalorian episode because I'm pretty sure there was a reason why she was
Well, I
there.
think you're right. I think
Is
she was there to
something
confront
Morgan did.
Morgan, but like, why? Why is she confronting Morgan? Because we never got any context behind that. But if,
I don't know if it has something to do.
but this might answer that because maybe this was a result of that senator sending out a message. Morgan's kind of taking this town hostage. They won't join the New Republic. We need your help. Blah 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 blah. So then Ahsoka is now responding, looking for Morgan Elsbeth to confront her about this situation. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, potentially.
But I'm just saying,
And we know why Mando's there.
yeah, we know why Mando's there.
He's trying to find Ahsoka, but yeah,
Yep.
what? So, uh, I got now. I feel like I'm gonna watch the episode tonight and try to figure this all out, and we'll talk about it next episode. But yeah, no, I there was a reason, and it was she was after Morgan for some reason. I can't remember.
Okay. Well, if you do watch it and we talk about it next week, let me know what you
And
think. If
then
I know.
and just got to bring it up between episode 2 and 3, and her watching her use the Beskar spear was kick ass.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool to see that again. I'm so upset that whatever the Mandalorian armorer was like Beskar's made for armor, not weapons, and made Mando pretty much destroy the
Melt it
spear.
down.
I was like, no, that spear was so cool. And
Yeah,
it helped so much. It defended against the dark saber and
yeah.
everything.
It lasted so shortly, but hey, it got turned into armor for Grogu. So
At
at
least
least it lives on in one way or another. But it was pretty badass as
because
that
it's
spear.
it survived the when his ship got blown up
Yeah, true.
and he was looking through. He found the little ball thing,
Yep. The ball and the spear was
and
pretty
the
much
spear was the only thing
all
that survived. Did you used to
that ball
fly a
thing is
Razor Crest?
yeah.
I think you've got the wrong guy. You know that scene?
Yep.
Yeah,
That was
I love that. He's like, "Hey,
the
one quick
X-wing
question.
pilot. Yeah.
One quick question. Did you used to did you used to fly a Razor Crest? I think you have the wrong guy."
And then he like speeds away, doesn't he?
Yeah. How
And
do you
then
go
the
to
other
how,
X-wing is like, should we pursue him? And the guy's like, do you want to spend all day filling out paperwork?
do you want to spend all day filling out paperwork?
No. Okay, we'll let him go.
I love that. I love that whoever actor that plays that because he shows up on and off throughout.
Yeah.
I think he even shows up in Ahsoka maybe
Yeah,
once.
he's the one that's in that episode of the flashbacks with Ahsoka and Anakin. He's the one that's one of the pilots that's flying around helping trying to find Ahsoka in the water. And he
Okay.
I think he shows up again at another point too in that show. But yeah, what's his Tarvis? I think his name is Tarvis or something like that.
That
I
sounds
had
right. Or-
I have his helmet, but I haven't unboxed it yet. It's in my
Oh, is that the
storage
prize
room.
giveaway? No,
No,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
no, that's my prize giveaway to myself. I've had that helmet like in storage for the longest time, and I haven't even opened it up yet. It's going to replace Poe Dameron's because I these are all like original trilogy helmets or Mandalorian X-Wing pilot helmets. Because like
Okay.
Poe's looks different from all the other X-Wing pilot helmets, so I
So
want a
you're just
little more
it,
uniformity here.
so Poe Dameron is the giveaway.
Yeah, Poe Dameron's the killer. Who wants Poe Dameron's helmet?
Does it come with a mom with a like a mom joke inside of it?
Yeah, maybe a few of them. Well,
I,
anything. Oh, go ahead.
no, you go, you go ahead.
I was just going to ask if there was anything else you wanted to speak to as it relates to this arc of Morgan Elsbeth for
Tales of the Empire.
Tales of the Empire.
No, I think I mean I enjoyed it. Um it's always enjoyable when you can get through an arc and cut probably less than an hour.
Hmm.
Especially when I said the last episode felt like it was like 8 minutes long. Um but I can tell the last arc was just kind of like wrapping it up, and it kind of segues right into that episode of Mandalorian.
Yeah, it does.
So I can only assume that episode where Ahsoka and Mando show up is not too far after that
Yeah,
incident.
I would
Because
believe so.
to me, it's like, okay, the distress beacon got destroyed and this and that, and the ship got destroyed, but you sent a representative of the Senate.
A senator, yeah.
You would think if you haven't heard back and like
You're gonna
something,
follow up.
yeah, let's follow up and let's send like a whole like rebel fleet out there and see what the hell's going on. So
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
think you're spot on.
and I do like that episode and you had the cameo too because one actor I think is underappreciated in a lot of roles is Michael Biehn. He plays kind of like the sheriff, I guess, or whatever of that small town for Morgan. If you
Yep,
know who I'm talking about, he's Kyle Reese in Terminator 1.
yep.
And I just watched a movie recently that he was older role, but he was really great in it. So, but yeah, just
Shout out to him.
little shout out to him. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And and then okay, and then before we conclude this episode, there was something I came across on my feed on somewhere on maybe Facebook or something. It was uh when Porkins when they're doing the trench run.
Yeah,
And one of the guys is telling Porkins, like, get out of there, eject, eject. Someone posted that and he's like, eject into what? Into space? Because they're probably thinking, like, aviators here, yeah, yeah, you're on a planet, like, yeah, you could eject and parachute. Like, where is he gonna eject into space?
if you want my true answer, I think, and they might have backtracked on that because I think originally they didn't really plan for that, but I think the when you eject, the whole cockpit leaves, kind of like an escape pod type of a thing.
You just had to ruin the joke.
I know, I know.
Because right away I started reading all like the responses, and someone actually showed like a model, and it shows like the cockpit area just kind of like pops out like an escape pod.
Yeah,
So,
but I don't think that was the original plan. I think they backtracked on that. They're like, okay,
because
how do we make this okay? All right, we'll just say that when the whole thing ejects when they
but it's
eject.
like, but you never see that in the movie. You
Right.
never see like the whole cockpit like eject out like an escape pod. So the fact that when they're telling Pork is, oh, you got to get out of there, eject, eject, eject.
Do you know what my
Someone,
favorite part of
someone had made that joke like, we checked into where?
Do you know what my favorite part about that whole scene is? That whole Porkins thing? From what I understand, he was never shot down. He just had malfunctions on his ship from like overheating, which is why he he died. So like, didn't even get shot down. The guy just goes out on attacking the Death Star because he has a malfunctioning X-wing. It's like, and then you see the Family Guy episode of that. You've seen those, right?
Yeah.
And he's in the cockpit, but he's like popping out of it, and he just like and just like crashes into the Death Star.
Because it was too heavy.
Yeah, which is kind of in Family Guy, it's malfunctioning because he's too heavy in there, and that's technically how he died because of malfunctions. But
God, I love those Family Guy movies. I was trying to find because I own it, but I can't find it. So I don't know if it's at my parents or where it's at. But God, those those are so funny.
they do.
I just and then like before the trench run, like big big red standing by, Red October standing by, like all like the different like reds,
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
And I like when they said Red October, like Sean
Red,
Connery, Red
Red
October.
October.
It's a big old submarine in space.
It's so good. Oh man.
And I still will never forget. I literally could not stop laughing at the whole. I know I brought this up in previous episodes, but that scene in the Return of the Jedi, the Family Guy makes fun of, where you hear the trumpet noise before R2 shoots the lightsaber to Luke
Yeah.
Skywalker. But they're all like
Nodding.
they nodding, and there's like it goes through like 20 people, and they're like random people. Like they're like, who the hell is this guy? And then it goes to a guy on the pitching mound, and he's got his he's like literally in the middle of the desert just on a pitching mound. He goes and he shakes him off. So sorry viewers if you have to hear that for like the eighth time, but that's just I cannot. I laughed
It's worth
so
it.
hard.
And I know we've said this before too, but like I wish they would just do the prequels and then do the
Oh God,
sequels. Like
that'd be
just do them all. I mean, it's such great content. And I think someone made the comment. This was even before the sequels came out, I believe, but someone joked about they can't do the prequels because each movie would be like 10 hours long because there's just so much to make fun of in those movies. Like Jar Jar Binks, like the,
oh my
the world is their
God.
oyster for what they could do with Jar Jar Binks and all those situations. But
And hell, even Anakin Skywalker in the second one.
yeah, yeah.
I don't like the
Sand.
sand. It's so coarse. Like
They just need to have like every 5 minutes someone come to Anakin, pocket sand. Just, oh gosh. All
and then just
right.
just in general, like yeah, that second one, how much you can make fun of like the Amidala and Anakin Skywalker, their romance. It
Oh
was
yeah.
so cringy. Like
Yeah.
I was not buying it at all. And I'm like, oh my God. And that was an annoying part of that movie too. It was like Obi-Wan, cool. He's on a mission. Then we go back to what they're doing. I was like, don't
I
care.
don't care.
Then it goes back to Obi-Wan. And he's on what's the rain planet? Uh
Camino.
Camino. He's investigating, he's discovering things. He knows who Jango Fett is. And then it goes back to Anakin Skywalker and Amidala. I'm like, don't care. Get back to
Feeding you a space pair with the force.
the so like that I thought that movie was bad in that perspective that it jumped too much. Like you had t 10 minutes of this, 8 minutes of this, 10 minutes of that. But then like those the Amidala romance with Anakin Skywalker, I'm like, I don't
Well, you
care.
had a pretty cool story in terms of the Obi-Wan Kenobi stuff that he was doing.
Hmm.
That was kept getting broken up by this poorly written love story.
Yes.
But it's obviously going to continue to like take you out of it. You're like, can we just flush this out and just watch Obi-Wan Kenobi's story here?
Yes, I totally agree. It's not like I don't want to discredit like the romance that's important to the whole
Yeah,
Skywalker story.
sure.
It was just
Cringe. It was
just
cringe on
cringe.
how it was done.
We get to really serious with Obi-Wan. I mean, heck, we he's in a space fight with Jango Fett with seismic bombs, and then we jump over and we see Anakin Skywalker and Amidala like rolling in the grass, giggling.
Yeah.
I was like, there's shit happening right now. And then there's this. Like it didn't flow. It didn't mesh well, I
Or that,
guess.
or then we have a scene where Padme is like in this very revealing black dress in a like in front of a fireplace, and we're supposed to believe that Padme is not trying to lead like Anakin on. Like, no, Anakin, like what are you like? Okay, when you were going in your wardrobe and you're like, what am I going to wear today? You did not think that something like that.
Was
Oh,
not
he's a
gonna
Jedi. He's not supposed to have attachment. Okay, then just wear sweats and a sweatshirt or something like that. Like, what are you doing? Just wearing something where you're just like popping out, like,
try to provoke the whole situation.
yeah,
She's like, "You're a little boy,
yeah.
but but
But I'm
you're
gonna wear
just
this dress,
let me wear this dress."
and it's just gonna be you and I at a dimly lit room with a fire going. Like, what? George Lucas, I have a few questions for you and concerns in that regard. No, I'm kidding. Um, but yeah, I still like the prequel trilogy. I mean,
Oh no,
there's a lot of things. I will even say there's a lot of things to laugh about in the original trilogy. Still great storytelling and still great stuff. But
and yeah,
I don't know
it's
if I can.
unfortunate we didn't. I don't know if you. I didn't get a chance, but did you ever get a chance to go see Revenge of the Sith? Right, returned to theaters for a short, brief moment for May the 4th.
For which one? Sorry, you cut out a
Reve
little, or I don't know if I cut out or you're cut out.
oh, Revenge of the Sith returned to theaters for a brief moment, right? Of the prequels.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it.
Yeah, I know we talked about maybe you and I would go, but then it just never. I know that May the 4th was kind of busy. I can't remember if something came up for you too, and so
Yeah,
unfortunate didn't get a chance because I didn't know if did you go to town or not?
what happened? Yeah, something happened on May the 4th. I can't
Was
remember
it
what it was.
was your dad's? Did your dad have surgery around that time?
Yeah, but I don't think it was over the May the 4th. I think it was a little afterwards. Something took place because I know we were looking to like go to a brewery or like trivia or something, and just nothing worked out. I can't remember. I think
Because
probably
I know it.
Colleen worked that weekend too, probably.
Oh,
So
'cause I know I told you how I went to the Inside Brewery
yeah,
thing
yeah,
on the third that Saturday.
yeah.
I know we talked about trying to find some time, either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday or something, but it just never worked out. So
Never panned out.
no, I'm sure they'll at one point I'll be in the theaters again.
It's
Otherwise,
been a few times.
we'll just watch it at one of our houses then, and instead,
Home theater works just as fine too, right?
yeah, that way you can hit pause.
Yeah. Well, I
Or
mean, and I used to have marathons like almost once a year for Star Wars, and I haven't had that for a while. So I should look into. I mean, it's just once kids come along, it's really hard to
I
find
know,
timing for stuff.
yeah,
But it's something I really would like to do again. Is just do like a whole Star Wars marathon for all the featured films. Um, and I kind of want to do one now too for like Rogue. Well, I won't say Rogue, but like Andor, because you could almost do like season one is like of a trilogy, like the first movie of a trilogy. Season two is like the second movie of a trilogy, and then Rogue One is like the third movie of a trilogy. And you can have kind of like a marathon on that because that's a fantastic story, some of the best Star Wars stuff out there. But would love
uh,
to do feature
that would
film
have
one.
to that obviously has to lead into New Hope then,
Yeah,
just because we've talked about before how everything just segued so perfectly,
yeah,
and how it just segues into New Hope even.
yeah. And I have yet
That
to watch New Hope after watching Andor, so I want to know if I feel anything different about the movie A New Hope after watching that whole Andor series, because it
I feel
definitely
like it's
changed my feeling about Rogue One watching Andor
like
season two.
you
I
like
like
it
it better.
even more after
Hmm.
Andor.
Yep,
Okay.
for sure.
The first time I saw Rogue One, right away,
Oh yeah,
it was in my top probably three all time, and
yeah.
maybe might be number two.
I
So,
always had Rogue One as it between three or four, number three or four of my favorites. Um, but now I think it's two or three for me. I mean, Empire Strikes Back will probably always be number one to me. and then A New Hope is number two. But now like Rogue One is like right there with it, in terms of favorite Star Wars movies. And it's just now that we've gotten the context of like how brutal the Empire is from the show Andor, and just the sacrifices that were put into allowing a farm boy, a princess, and a smuggler to be able to destroy the Death Star, it like just makes it that much more amazing. So yeah, I want to watch New Hope all over again just to see how I feel about it now after seeing Andor. But good stuff.
Yep.
Any final thoughts on Arc One of Tales of the Empire? I know you'll be watching Arc Two, which is about Barriss Offee, for 4, 5, and 6 episodes of Tales of the Empire, and we will probably talk about that next time. So I'll be curious to hear what your thoughts on that are. All right, well we will wrap that up. Once again, I'll just call out, if you're listening to us, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, rate, review, comment, all the above. We greatly appreciate it. Reminder, we will be having a prize giveaway at 200 subscribers. So you're not going to want to miss that. And of course, an even bigger prize at 500 subs. Make sure you're public. With that, have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. And we look forward to talking more Star Wars next week. Hopefully we can get more on that week to week cadence. So was just getting over having hand, foot, and mouth, thanks to my 2-year-old son who passed it on to me. So that's why we weren't able to record last week. And then I was out of town the week before. So it's been a couple of weeks that we were off, but hopefully we can get back into the routine again. So looking forward to talking next week. Until then, as always, may the Force be with you.